विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपदा शील प्रभुपदा जय जय प्रभुपाद ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने श्रीवार्षभानदी देवी दैताय कृपाब्धे कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञानदायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुर्य दुर्जोल प्रेमाढ्य श्रीरूपानुग भक्तिद श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्ति दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत ध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्यमूर्ते विप्रलम्बर साम्बुदे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्तिस्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते गौरविर्भावभूमे स्वं निर्दिष्ट सज्जन प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त श्री राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतौ पंगुर्मम मन्देर्मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्पदां भुजं श्री राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्य वृंदारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमाद श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनद श्रीमद् राधा शीलगोविन्द देवो पृष्ठादिभिः सेवमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान राससारंभी वंशीवटतरस्थितः कर्षण वेणुस्वनिर् गोपी गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनतप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So everybody is having this book, Lecture of Instructions. Yeah. So open the first page. 11 lessons in the ancient science of Bhakti Yoga. Some part you should also do at home also. You should read the some of the topics which I'll be giving, some of the paragraphs. So here is said, across 5 centuries and half, the globe comes this compact. Across 5 centuries and half the globe comes this compact guide of essential spiritual teachings. How to choose a guru, how to practice yoga, even where to live. You'll find it all in this valuable work. Originally written in Sanskrit by Srila Rupa Goswami, the greatest spiritual genius of medieval India, now translated and illuminated by Rupa Goswami's modern successor, His Divine Grace, is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The nectar of instruction is the key of enlightenment for all seekers on the path of spiritual perfection. You see two personalities here. The two personalities, one is writing, that is Rupa Goswami. One is reading, Jiva Goswami. So Jiva Goswami is actually editing, correcting what Rupa Goswami has written. Editing, some corrections has to be done. So Jiva Goswami always used to assist Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, their brother Anupam. Anupam's son is Jiva Goswami. So we have 6 Goswamis. Sanatan, Rupa, then you have Jiva Goswami. You have Gopal Bhatt, Raghunath Das, Raghunath Bhatt. So in this way we have 6 Goswamis. When we say Goswami, Go means senses. Goswami, one who has controlled his senses, is known as Goswami. In the olden times, Goswami became the title also. Some took as a family title, hereditary title. Well, actually the Goswami means one who knows to control his senses, is known as Goswami. So all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, the nectar of instruction, and authorized English presentation of Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita with the original Sanskrit text, Roman transliteration, synonyms, translations, and elaborate purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we have 11 verses here. Preface. You should not forget to read always a preface, introduction, preface. So the Krishna conscious movement is conducted under the supervision of Srila Rupa Goswami. So we are all Rupanugas. 6 Goswamis, but we are all followers of Rupa Goswami. That is why we are known as Rupanugas. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Sanatan Narottam Das Thakur sings, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti Kabe Hama Bhujaba Seyugala Piriti. Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti. When am I going to have that eagerness to study the literature given by the Goswamis? Rupa Raghunatha Pade. Pade here refers to the literatures which they have written. When am I going to have that priti, or when am I going to be eager to study their literatures? Kabe hama bhujaba se yugala priti. So then I can be able to understand the transcendental loving affairs of Radha and Krishna by reading the literatures of 6 Goswamis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon the human society the benedictions of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna is pastimes of conjugal love with the gopis. Now, I had gone to South last week. I went to many temples. I was seeing the Gopurams, the Shikhar, the Gopuram. In the Gopuram, they always have the Leela where Krishna steals the garments of the gopis. And the gopis are practically nude, and they have to come before Krishna. So in all the Gopurams, this Leela is there. In all the Gopurams. What is it emphasizing? The highest surrenderance to Krishna. The topmost surrenderance is the Madhurya Rasa, where everything is given to Krishna, including the body is given to Krishna. So this is the topmost activity of Krishna, where the conjugal love with the gopis is the topmost of all the activities of Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must seriously follow in the footsteps of 6 Goswamis: Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha, Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta, and Das Raghunatha. We have Shad Goswami Ashtakam also. If we complete the portion in time, we'll try to sing the Shad Goswami Ashtakam. Actually, Shad Goswami Ashtakam should be sung. Where Rupa Goswami, he is the head of all the Goswamis. Though Sanatana Goswami is the eldest brother of Rupa Goswami, still, because Rupa Goswami has understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthaptam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. This is the pranam mantra for Rupa Goswami. Of all the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami stands at topmost because he has understood the heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is spreading the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, understanding his heart. Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instructions to follow. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him 8 verses known as Shikshashtakam. Rupa Goswami gave us Upadeshamrita so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. Hope everyone knows Shikshashtakam. Everybody should know Shikshashtakam if we are in Bhakti Shastri class. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, that is Sattva-guna. By following the instructions of Rupa Goswami, then everything concerned how to make further progress will be revealed. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of Krishna consciousness should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. It's not the Swami on the go, it is Goswamis or just traveling Swamis. Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is a title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect Goswami of Krishna conscious, a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means the senses, Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami has given many other books such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, that is Vidagdha Madhav, Lalita Madhav. But Upadeshamrita consists the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly, then it will be very easy to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, September 20th, 1975, Vishwaroop Mahotsav, Krishna Balaram Mandir, Ramanareti, Vrindavan, India. See Prabhupada's signature, so big signature. Where it starts, very dangerous. It's a big signature. So Prabhupada says that if we follow the instructions given in Upadeshamrita, it can be started with the neophyte. Even if a person is advanced also, he has to follow these instructions. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udarupastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishya. So first verse teaches us how to select a guru or what is the qualification of a guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jari dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. Whoever you see, speak of Krishna. So for that, what should be the qualification? Everybody should become guru. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. Everybody should become guru. So this qualification has been given. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udara upastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvamapi mam prithivim sashishyat. Krishna Priya Mataji, read the verse. Now to memorize the verse. Every day, try to memorize these 11 shlokas. One by one, we'll try to memorize. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Dandavatra Mataji. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jivha vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yo vishahetu dhiraha sarvam pimam prithivim sa shishyat.
Narayan, read the words.
वाचो वेगं मनस क्रोध वेगं जिह्वा वेगं उदर उपस्थ वेगं एतान् वेगान् यो विषयेत धीरः सर्वामपि मां पृथिवीं च शिष्यात्.
Gadi Prabhu, read the words.
Hare Krishna. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udaropastha vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhiraha sarvam apimam prithvim sasishyat.
Translation goes like this. Vachaha vegam manasa krodha vegam. So vegam means the speed. There is always an urge. There's a speed. In that, it is said, Vachaha. The tongue always wants to speak. The tongue is the softest part of our body, but it has an eligibility to break our bones, isn't it? You speak something nonsense, somebody will come and hit you. So that is why control of speech is very much important. There's always an urge to speak. Everybody wants to speak. Nobody wants to listen. Everyone wants to speak. There's an urge to speak. So one has to tolerate that urge to speak. Vacho vegam, manasaha. Mind speaks a lot, more than the tongue. First, the level of speech is at the level of mind. So it is manasaha. In mind, you think something nonsense, it will come out from your mouth. That is why mind has to be very, very Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindeyo. Why Barish Maharaj says, always think of Krishna. That's the only reason. So that if the mind thinks of Krishna, naturally the speech will also come about Krishna. So Manasa Vegam. Krodha Vegam, to anger. You get angry, you speak something nonsense, isn't it? When anger comes, when the things doesn't happen according to what you wish, what you desire, then immediately there is an anger. So Krodha Vegam, there also one has to control that anger. You cannot have a dustbin to put the anger. Then you utilize the anger in Krishna's service. Simple. Jibha Vegam, there's an urge to eat. So tongue has two utility. One is to speak and one is to eat. So then that is an urge of the tongue to eat something. So there also you can control that urge by taking Krishna Prasad. Now you see this tongue, belly and the genitals. They are all in one line. Whatever goes inside, that only will come outside, isn't it? So you have to have a controlled eating habits. Then your intestines are also, belly is also proper. Belly is proper, automatically the genitals are also, everything is proper. So Jiva Vegam, Udara Upastha Vegam. These three things are in one line. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes. So one has to control the urge of the tongue. Etan Vegan Yo Vishaheta Dhiraha, Adhira Purusha. Who is a Dhira Purusha? We have learned in Bhagavad Gita. Dehinosmin thadehe kaumaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara prapti dhirastattana muhyati. There dhira word comes. Dhira. I told you last time how to study. Whenever one word comes, try to link it with Bhagavad Gita Bhagavata. So who is a Dhira Purusha? He is not at all bewildered by seeing the changes. So here also it is said, such if a person has control over these urges, then he is actually Dhira Purusha. And he has a capacity to make disciples all over the world. Sarvam apimam prithivim sa shishyat. He has a capacity to make disciples all over the world. Sarvam apimam prithivim sa shishyat. In the first paragraph, you can read the whole thing. We'll take some paragraphs and afterwards we'll read. First I'll explain and then we'll go on reading it. The explanation has been given here. Parikshit Maharaj places some questions to Sukadeva Goswami. Why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? Atonement, prayashchit. Many people try to do some prayashchit. It is said here, somebody sees and learns. You are seeing somebody. Oh, he's suffering. Then he sees him and learns. Somebody just hears and learns. He has heard that this thing is not proper, then he understands. He sees and learns. He hears and learns. He sees and hears and learns. But there are some fools who sees and hears and still doesn't learn. That has been given in the first paragraph. Somebody can read. Vandana Mataji, read the first paragraph.
Hare Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.9 to 10, Pradikshit Maharaj placed a number of intelligent questions before Sukdev Goswami. One of these questions was, why do people undergo atonement if they cannot control their senses? For instance, a thief may know perfectly well that he may be arrested for his stealing, and he may actually even see a thief arrested by the police. Yet he continues to steal. Experiences gathered by hearing and seeing. One who is less intelligent gather experience by seeing, and one who is more intelligent gather experience by hearing. When an intelligent person hears from the law books and Shastra or scriptures that stealing is not good and hears that a thief is punished when arrested, he refrains from theft. A less intelligent person may first have to be arrested and punished for stealing to learn to stop stealing. However, a rascal, a foolish man may have the experience of both hearing and seeing, and may even be punished, but he still continues to steal. Even if such a person atones and is punished by the government, he will again commit theft as soon as he comes out of the jail. If punishment in jail is considered atonement, what is the benefit of such atonement? Thus, Parikshit Maharaj inquired.
So Parikshit Maharaj is saying, even after getting punished, still he is doing the same activity. Then what is the use of such atonement? What is the benefit of such atonement? Like you have churches, people commit all the mistakes and then they go to Father and they ask, they are asking the forgiveness. Then some prayashchita is there. After that, again the same thing if he is doing, then what is the use of such atonement? Or how you categorize that atonement? Here Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring. Drishta Shutabhyam yat papam jananapi atmano hitam karoti bhuya vivashah prayashchitam atho katam kvachin nivartate abhadrat क्वचित् चरति तत् पुनः प्रायश्चितम् अथो पार्थम मन्ये kunjara shauchavat. Such prayashchita is known as kunjara shauchavat. Kunjara shauchavat means it is like the elephants bathing. Elephants, what they do? They'll take bath very nicely, and afterwards, then they come out and they put all over their body, they'll put mud. So what is the use of such atonement or such bathing that has been put? Kunjara shauchavat. Kunjara shauchavat means taking bath like elephant, afterwards coming out, again putting mud on their body. So chanting very nicely in the morning hours, then doing Vaishnava Prad. What is the use? Then criticizing everyone. What is the use of chanting? You have taken a wonderful bath, then putting mud on our own body, on our own consciousness. So such type of atonement is known as elephant's bathing. Srila Prabhupada writes, Kunjara Shauchavat. Elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes out of the bank, it throws dirt all over the body. Okay, who will read? Vishwambhar Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. He compared atonement to an elephant's bathing. The elephant may take a very nice bath in the river, but as soon as it comes onto the bank, it throws dirt all over its body. What then is the value of its bathing? Similarly, many spiritual practitioners chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and at the same time commit many forbidden things, thinking that their chanting will counteract their offenses. Of the 10 types of offenses, one can commit while chanting the holy names of the Lord. This offense is called Namno Balad Yasya
Yasyahi Papa
Pap
Buddhi.
Buddhi. Committing sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Similarly, certain Christians go to church to confess their sins, thinking that confessing their sins before a priest and performing some penance will relieve them from the results of their weekly sins. As soon as Saturday is over and Sunday comes, they again begin their sinful activities, expecting to be forgiven the next Saturday. This kind of prayaschit or atonement is condemned by the Parikshit Maharaj, the most intelligent king of his time. Sukdev Goswami, equally intelligent as befitting the spiritual master of Maharaj Parikshit, answered the king and confirmed that his statement concerning atonement was correct. A sinful activity cannot be counteracted by a pious activity. Thus, real Prashit atonement is the awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness.
So what is
Real
real Prashit? Awakening our dormant Krishna consciousness. Mark this line. So the question, if it comes, what is real Prashit? Awakening of our dormant Krishna consciousness. Then that is Prashit. When we understand, yes, we are servants of Krishna, then we will try to avoid doing offenses. Or namno balad yasyahi papa buddhihi na vidyate sayamene shuddhihi. So namno balad yasyahi papa buddhihi. This is the seventh nam aparad. On the strength of the holy name, committing again and again, committing to sinful activities. So what is real atonement? Involves coming to real knowledge. That means awakening our dormant Krishna consciousness. Okay. There, Sagar Prabhu, read this paragraph.
Hare Krishna. Real atonement involves coming to real knowledge, and for this there is a standard process. When one follows a regulated hygienic process, he does not fall sick. A human being is meant to be trained according to certain principles to revive his original knowledge. Such a methodical life is described as tapasya. One can be gradually elevated to the standard of real knowledge or Krishna consciousness by practicing austerity and celibacy, brahmacharya, by controlling the mind, by controlling the senses, by giving up one's possessions in charity, by being overly truthful, by keeping clean, and by practicing yoga asanas. However, if one is fortunate enough to get the association of a pure devotee, he can easily surpass all the practices for controlling the mind by the mystic yoga process, simply by following the regulative principles of Krishna consciousness, of refraining from illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, and by engaging in the service of the Supreme Lord under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master. This easy process is being recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami.
So it's very easy to become Krishna conscious by following the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, in which we have the 4 religious principles based upon. So no meat eating, where compassion or non-violence is based. No meat eating, no intoxication. Then tapasya is meant, because we are humans and naturally we should do tapasya, voluntarily accepting certain difficulties so that we can progress in devotional service. So no intoxication gives us the The religious principle there is tapasya. If we are humans, we should do tapasya. Simple. If we are animals, we will not do tapasya. Somebody is not able to wake up and understand he's an animal. If somebody is waking up early in the morning, that in this cold season and performing tapasya, that means he is a human. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, purity. Actually, one has to be pure, then we can progress. No illicit sex, no gambling, truthfulness, satya, satyata, truthfulness. So the bull, which is representing the dharma, is based on 4 religious principles. So it is very easy to, this is the easiest process which has been recommended by Srila Upadeshamrita. So Prabhupada, see how he starts. But we should understand how Prabhupada starts. Prabhupada starts with atonement. Where Vacho Vegam, where atonement? Why he has started like this? You should always think why he's passing time or what, just to increase the volume of the book. No. He starts with atonement. He's starting with the Prashna of Parikshit Maharaj. And then Prabhupada is writing about the elephants bathing. That means all these urges. Now he's going to speak about the urges. That means 3 paragraphs just went in describing what is atonement. And then coming to the real knowledge, that atonement means understanding real knowledge. And then real knowledge emphasizes on what? On this first verse. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam. That is real knowledge. Because to get that real knowledge, first one has to have control over these urges. If you don't have control over these urges, then what is the use of atonement? You will do mistake, again you will say, I'm sorry. Again you will do mistake, you will have sorry. Why? Because you didn't have control over these urges. So in this way, Prabhupada starts with atonement and again doing the mistake. That is like Kunjara Shauchavat. See how it is so much connected. Now a person is not having a controlled life. He eats whatever it comes. Then he is suffering also. That is why in the first paragraph, Prabhupada writes that after experiencing also, still he is not having a controlled tongue, or you can say a controlled life. That means after seeing, after hearing, after experiencing, still is not having control. Then what is the use? So that is why all this first background is given. This is known as Purva Kriya, setting a scene. When you write an essay, first you have to set a scene. You will be thinking, somebody will be thinking, what is this? Essay is going somewhere and what you are doing? You are setting a scene. Then how urges to control is, the control to control over the urges is important. Okay. Jumu, read.
First, one must control his speaking power. Every one of us has the power of speech. As soon as we get an opportunity, we begin to speak. If we do not speak about Krishna consciousness, we speak about all sorts of nonsense. A toad in a field speaks by croaking, and similarly, everyone who has a tongue wants to speak, even if all he has to say is nonsense. The croaking of the toad, however, simply invites the snake. Please come here and eat me. Nevertheless, although it is inviting death, the toad goes on croaking. The talking of materialistic men and impersonalist Mayavadi philosophers may be compared to the croaking of frogs. They are always speaking nonsense and thus inviting death to catch them. Controlling speech, however, does not mean self imposed silence, the external process of mourn, as Mayavadi philosophers think. Silence may appear helpful for some time, but ultimately it proves a failure. The meaning of controlled speech, conveyed by Srila Rupa Goswami, advocates the positive process of Krishna Katha, engaging the speaking process in glorifying the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The tongue can thus glorify the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. The preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. The restlessness or fickleness of the mind, manovega, is controlled.
Wait. Now speech. So this is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. What is the best way? Just speak about Krishna. Wherever you get opportunity, whenever you get opportunity, just speak about Krishna. The more we speak about Krishna, then urge to speak something else will always go away. That is why morning hours are the best hours. Just chant the holy name. Nobody will speak to each other. The more we speak to each other, some materialistic talk, there's always a fight. The best thing is you chant, let your family members chant, let everybody chant. Prabhupada has given a very wonderful morning schedule so that nobody will speak anything nonsense and everybody will be chanting the holy name of Krishna. Other times also, whenever you get an opportunity, speak about Krishna. So, preacher of Krishna Katha is always beyond the clutches of death. This is the significance of controlling the urge to speak. Okay, now Manasha Vegam, Vacho Vegam over. Now Manasa Vegam. Ashok Anija Prabhu, read Manasaha Vegam.
Hare Krishna. The restlessness or fickleness of the mind, Manovega, is controlled when one can fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. The Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hai Andhakar, Yaha Krishna Taha Nahi Mayar Adhikar. Krishna is just like the sun and Maya is just like darkness. If the sun is present, there is no question of darkness. Similarly, if Krishna is present in the mind, there is no possibility of the mind being agitated by Maya's influence. The yogic process of negating all material thoughts will not help. To try to create a vacuum in the mind is artificial. The vacuum will not remain. However, if one always thinks of Krishna and how to serve Krishna best, one's mind will naturally be controlled.
So, you're not thinking, no, wait, this is Manasa Vegam going on. So, if in the mind, some useless thoughts come, then that is expressed through the speech. So, then some people say, don't think anything. It can never happen. Thinking that I'm not thinking anything, that is also one thought. Okay. If somebody says, I'm not thinking anything, that is also one thought. There is also one thought process that I'm not thinking anything. You cannot create a vacuum in the mind. You cannot be just blank and look at the sky and sit. Empty mind's devil's workshop. Mind is the place where thinking, willing, feeling has to happen. You just cannot go on staring at some place and I'm not thinking anything. Let me be blank. Let me be vacuum in the mind. It cannot happen because mind is a factory. Some or the thoughts will come, maybe of past or maybe of future, maybe of present. So that is why it is said, Yasyam Vaishyamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhakti Utpadete Pumsam Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. There's a nice verse from Bhagavatam which says, Yasyam Vaishyamanayam. Always hear about Krishna. Yasyam Vaishyamanayam. Krishna Parama Purushe. Yasyam Vaishyamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe. Bhakti Utpadete Pumsam. Automatically Bhakti will come. The more we hear, Bhakti is aroused. Though it is dormant state, it arises. Bhakti Utpadete Pumsam. Then what will happen? All the past, shoka. Because of past, there is always shoka. Oh, I was so beautiful. When I'm getting old. So the thought process. So what will happen? What will happen to me? What I was in the past? I was so dynamic. Old age means what? The health will deteriorate only. Body will deteriorate. So shoka because of past memories. Moha is because of present thoughts. And bhaya is because of future thoughts. So these thought processes of past, present, and future can easily be removed, which is giving a rise to shoka, moha, bhaya, that can easily go away by just remembering Krishna, just by just chanting about Krishna, hearing about Krishna. The more we do that, Tukaram Maharaj says, Lahanpani Dega Deva, you're always young. Body may get old, but the mind is always young, always thinking about Krishna. Just see, mind is the is the place where everything can happen. You can always think of Krishna. Go on thinking about different plans to increase your Krishna consciousness, spread Krishna consciousness. If you do this, you will always be young and wonderful. If you don't do that, you'll be just thinking, what will happen? मैं बूढ़ा बन जाऊंगा, क्या होने वाला है? I was so young. So all these thought processes will come. You cannot stop thinking because there is no vacuum created in the mind. It can never happen. Mind is a place where this has to come, thinking, willing. That is why think about Krishna. Go on planning something or the other. That is why Srila Prabhupada has given us so many temple activities. You are connected to the temple, you think about the temple, you think about various services in the temple, isn't it? You have your preaching activities, you think about the various preaching ways by which we can expand Krishna consciousness around. Okay, now urge to speak, urge to mind, urge of mind. And now urge of anger, because anger has to be controlled. How can you control the anger? Can you take out the anger and put it in the dustbin? Which dustbin holds the anger? Use the anger in Krishna's service. If anger is there, use it in Krishna's service. There is a person who is criticizing Krishna consciousness. Go and blast him. Not a problem. That time, don't just say, oh, let him speak. Everybody has a right to speak. This is democracy. It is democracy. Prabhupada says it's not democracy, it is demon crazy. The demons are so crazy. So somebody is criticizing a spiritual master, go and blast him. Hanuman used his anger. Here Srila Prabhupada writes about Hanuman. He also used his anger in burning the whole Lanka. Arjuna used the anger. You cannot just laugh and fight, smile and fight. You have to show your anger mode. So anger has to be employed. Anger is such a thing, it is such an asset also. Anger is an asset also. You can correct a person by using your anger. Like mother uses her anger in improving the child. So anger is a wonderful asset. Anger should not be just used in a ordinary way. It has to be employed. See, one is like you doing whatever you have, you're using it in whatever way you want. One is employing the things whatever you have and employing it in Krishna's service. Arjuna employed the anger in Krishna's service. Okay, Sudha Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Similarly, anger can be controlled. We cannot stop anger altogether, but if we simply become angry with those who blaspheme the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, we control our anger in Krishna consciousness. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry with the miscreant brothers Jagai and Madhai, who blasphemed and struck Nityanand Prabhu. In his Sikshastaka, Lord Chaitanya wrote, Trinadapi Sunichen Tarorapi Sahishnuna. One should be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than the tree. One may then ask why the Lord exhibited his anger. The point is that one should be ready to tolerate all insults to one's own self. But when Krishna or his pure devotee is blasphemed, a genuine devotee becomes angry and acts like fire against the offender. The anger cannot be stopped, but it can be applied rightly. It was in anger that Hanuman set fire to Lanka, but he is worshipped as the greatest devotee of Lord Ramchandra. This means that he utilized his anger in the right way. Arjuna serves as another example. He was not willing to fight, but Krishna incited his anger. You must fight. To fight without anger is not possible. Anger is controlled, however, when utilized in the service of the Lord. As for the urge of the tongue,
so Manasa Krodha Vegam. Then Jiva Vegam, urge of tongue. This is the only thing which is very difficult, isn't it? You see something very wonderful, you like to eat. But here is real tapasya. If we are trained to take Krishna Prasadam, that is why Prabhupada has trained this tongue to taste Krishna Prasadam. And right from the childhood, if you are trained in taking Krishna Prasadam, it's so wonderful. So here, urge of tongue has been given. Okay, Anupama, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In similar manner, the urge of the genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily.
Urge of tongue. Then it was next. Urge of tongue.
Urge, yeah, the similar manner, the urge of the genitals.
Before that part. As for the urges of the tongue, we all experience.
Yeah. As for the urge of the tongue, we all experience that the tongue wants to eat palatable dishes. Generally, we should not allow the tongue to eat according to its choice, but should control the tongue by supplying prasada. The devotee's attitude is that he will eat only when Krishna gives him prasada. That is the way to control the urge of the tongue. One should take prasada at scheduled time and should not eat in restaurants or sweet meat shops simply to satisfy the whims of the tongue or belly. If we stick to the principle of taking only prasada, the urge of the belly and tongue can be controlled.
Seeing some restaurants, and then even when we go to Govinda's also, okay, it is nice thing, go to Govinda's have, but don't eat more than required. And while eating also, we should know what we are eating. Nowadays, like, okay, I'm going to Govinda's, so pure. But then what ingredients has been used? Everything has to be seen. Today I was having meeting with temple president of Faridabad. Faridabad. He had come to a temple. I was talking to him. And I was talking about the organics. And he said this is most important because we just cannot eat what we want. We just cannot have something where the fertilizers are urea. What is happening? In the name of prasadam, even when we are offering to Krishna, what we are offering? We are offering the ingredients where urea and such chemicals, fertilizers are used. That is why so many cancer diseases and all is coming because of only that. He was so impressed. We visited our Ikomatula company offices, and then he said, yes, this is what we have to give to our devotees. It's very much important. The brahmachari is a full-time devotee, the devotee is connected, the devotee community. At least they should be aware of what they're eating, what dal they are using, what rice they're using. Because we'll say everything is prasad. If something nonsense is that is also prasad, you offer to Krishna, that becomes prasad. We have to use the best ingredients. We had Rajbhog in our place, Rajbhog prasad. He said, such a nice prasad, so light. I don't feel it is so heavy. Why? Because the ingredients used are so wonderful. Pure ghee, pure oil. So we have to be very careful what I am putting inside. That only will come outside. If we use good ingredients, is very much important. When you say urge to tongue, yes, I want to eat many palatable items. It may be the most costly item in the restaurants. You may go to even the best restaurant. Maybe you can go to the best Govinda's restaurant. See which ingredients are used. Not that I offer everything to Krishna, everything becomes so pure, I'll take it. No, we have to, even to offer to Krishna also, we should use the best ingredients. So see that we switch over our life to the service of cows. And that is how, what is organic is nothing but service to cow. The more Deshi cows are there, our local breeds are there, the more we take advantage of the Gomutra and Gobar, the best food items we'll get. Just don't go to some local shops just because it is very cheaper and go and spend in cheaper items. But then what happens is we suffer with big diseases. There all money goes. Switch over to organics. I always say this in every class, switch over to organics. It is only for the devotee community that we have started this project. And if devotees are not taking advantage, then what is the use? The milk should be pure, the ingredients should be pure, the ghee should be pure, oil should be pure. Then what you offer is the purest. Not that whatever I offer, Krishna has to eat. It is not his majburi, that he has to eat that. Krishna may reject also. Don't go and buy from local shops. These local shops are big cheaters. In the name of big companies, they are cheating us. They're spoiling our health. We have to be health conscious also. See, Krishna consciousness will only happen when your health is good. And there is Uttam Maheshwari, the best cow therapist. He was saying, when we are sick, at the time, why we go to doctor? If we are Krishna conscious, we should not go to doctor, isn't it? We should just say Hare Krishna and be peaceful. At that time, why we remember doctor? By that time, we are not fully Krishna conscious. Let Krishna improve my health. So why we became sick? Because of taking all wrong things. So in the beginning itself, be health conscious. Then only it will give to good Krishna consciousness. If we are not health conscious, if we eat whatever we want, okay, in a young age, we can digest whatever we want. After that, we suffer. Suffering starts from the age of 40 years. And nowadays, the suffering starts even at the age of 30 years. BP problem, this problem, sugar problem, because what we want, what we like, we eat. We wanted to eat more chocolates. We wanted to eat more fries. We wanted to eat some all nonsensical things. Everything went in. And then what happened? We suffer. So that is why urge of tongue is very, very important. Where we have to control the urge of tongue. Then if that is controlled, automatically genitals are controlled. Okay, Gadi Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji, in a similar manner, the urges of genitals, the sex impulse, can be controlled when not used unnecessarily. The genitals should be used to beget a Krishna conscious child. Otherwise, they should not be used. The Krishna consciousness movement encourages marriage not for the satisfaction of genitals, but for begetting of Krishna conscious children. As soon as the children are little grown up, they are sent to our Gurukul school in Dallas, Texas, where they are trained to become fully Krishna conscious devotees. Many such Krishna conscious children are required, and one who is capable of bringing forth Krishna consciousness offspring is allowed to utilize his genitals.
Yeah. So today, as I was telling, the meeting was there. The meeting was related to the schools what we are conducting. That is RGHS school, rather Gizari home school. We have few children, and it is a clustered home school where teachers are there and they teach 5 subjects. So I was asking about that. I said, yes, training the children in Krishna consciousness is very important. But we don't have the facility of colleges. So it can be like a hybrid mode, like you go to the, okay, in Dallas and all, we have a Gurukul system. But Gurukul system in India is very less. So we are trying to have a wonderful Gurukul system where we can teach them so many activities. We can teach them other subjects like Ayurveda. So here it is said, genitals means producing Krishna conscious children. Father and mother especially, they should always speak about Krishna to the children. It is father and mother with whom the children spend more time. Okay, if they don't have some Krishna conscious school in their locality, they don't have this homeschooling in their locality, at least father and mother should give more time to the children, speak about Krishna. Then the children whom they have given birth, they grow in Krishna consciousness. Or what is the use of just producing children? So 6 Vegas have been described: Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udara Upastha Vegam. Okay. Further. Gadadhar Prabhu, read.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dalatna. When one is fully practiced in the methods of Krishna conscious control, he can become qualified to be a bona fide spiritual master. In his Anuriti explanation of Upadeshamrita, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur writes that our material identification creates 3 kinds of urges: the urge to speak, The urge are demands of the mind and the demands of the body. When a living entity falls victim to their, his life becomes inauspicious. One who practices resisting these demands or urges is called tapasvi, or one who practices austerities. By such tapasya, one can overcome victimization of the material energy, the external potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When we refer to useless talking, such as that of the impostors, Mayavadi philosophers, or of persons engaged in fruitive activities, technically called karmakanda, are the materialistic people who simply want to enjoy life without restriction. All such talks or literatures are practical exhibitions of the urge to speak. Many people are talking nonsensically and writing volumes of useless books. And all this is the result of the urge to speak. To cover this imagery, we have to divert our talking to the subject of Krishna.
Okay.
This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.10.
So when Narada visits Vyasa, he says, "What you have done?" Vyasa at that time, he finished off writing with his Vedas, putting everything in writing. He finished off writing Puranas, then Itihasas. Still, he is not feeling very happy. Somewhere he is feeling very like a depressed person. Then he is thinking, why am I not happy after writing the two Mahabharat, Puranas? Why am I not feeling that happiness? At that time, Narad Muni comes. He says, Nayad vachas chitrapadam harer yasho jagat pavitram prakrita karhichit tadvayasam tirtham shanti manasaha nayatraham sa nirmanti shikshaya. These two verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 5, first canto, chapter 5, 10th and 11th. This is the prediction of ISKCON, prediction of Krishna consciousness, prediction of how Krishna conscious movement is going to spread around the world. Now first what he says, Nayad vachas chitra padam harishisho. What did he do? You wrote very wonderful. Chitra padam. Chitra padam means in a very artistic way you have written everything, chitra padam. But it is not describing about Krishna. There is no much description about Krishna. You see in the Vedas, much description about Krishna is not there. Jagat Pavitram, which is going to purify the whole world, that is not being given to the ample or to the fullest. Tad Vayasam Tirtham, that is whatever you have written. What it is a pilgrimage of crows. Not the same Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas. Vedavasa says it is a pilgrimage of crows. What happens? Pilgrimage of crows means what? It is a dustbin. It is on the dustbin only crows sit. And what they do? They just do ka, ka, ka. They just go on speaking. Nobody hears. So what you have written is only a pilgrimage of crows, and no Hamsa Purusha will take interest in such literature where description of Krishna is not much. And what to do? What is the solution? Tadvag visargo janataga viplavo yasmin pratishlokam avaddavati api namanyanta shaishwankitaniya shudavanti gayanti gunanti sadhava. Very nice verse this is. Tadvag visargo. Tadvag visargo. You create, visargaha means you create such a literature which is going to bring viplava, a drastic revolution in the heart of the person. It is not that step by step is improving. Drastic revolution. What did Srila Prabhupada do? Prabhupada took Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita with him. And Bhagavatam just made hippies into happies. Just such a revolution, drastic revolution. Tadvag visargo janatagha. Agha means janatagha. The sins of the people are completely destroyed. Janatagha viplavo. Yasmin pratishlokam. Every shloka. Yasmin pratishlokam, even if it is abhattavati api, even if it is not properly composed, or you can say with all synonyms and meters, rhythm. It has not been done in a very rhythmic way, you can say. Even if it is abaddhavati api. But namani anantasya yashwankitanya. Every word is describing about Krishna. Then shrunumanti, gayanti, grunanti, sadhava. Sadhu Purusha likes to, they take it. Shrunumanti, they like to hear. They like to sing. And they also like to take it up. Grunanti, they accept it. So write such a literature. What you have done, you have only created a mess. Dustbin is just a mess. So your literature, whatever you have written in the Vedas, everything is just a mess. So create a literature. That is where Srimad Bhagavatam evolved. This is the prediction for the evolvement of Srimad Bhagavatam. Create a literature. Then Veda Vyasa, they condensed the Vedas into sutras. 520 sutras, and then gave a natural commentary to the sutras. Sutras means the formulas. And this natural commentary is known as Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the prediction that how Srimad Bhagavatam is going to create a revolution in the hearts of the people. Srila Prabhupada took with him Srimad Bhagavatam. So these two verses are the most important verses, where the prediction of Bhagavatam is there, and how Bhagavatam created a revolution. That means prediction of ISKCON is also there. Okay. Neeraj Prabhu, please read. Read from the conclusion is that from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandavastana. I'm sorry for being late actually. I'm reading further. The conclusion is that when we talk about devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, can we refrain from useless, nonsensical talk? We should always endeavor to use our speaking power solely for the purpose of realizing Krishna consciousness. As for the agitations of the flickering mind, they are divided into two divisions. The first is called avirodha prati, or unrestricted attachment, and the other is called virodha yukta krodha, anger arising from frustration. Adherents to the philosophy of the Mayavadis believe in the fruitive results of the Karmavadis, and belief in the plans based on materialistic desires are called avirodha priti. Avirodha priti. Jnanis, karmis, and materialistic plan makers generally attract the attention of the conditioned souls. But when the materialists cannot fulfill their plans and when their devices are frustrated, they become angry. Frustrations of material desires produces anger. Similarly, the demands of the body can be divided into three categories: the demands of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. One may observe that these three senses are physically situated in a straight line as far as the body is concerned, and that the bodily demands begin with the tongue. If one can restrain the demands of the tongue by limiting its activities to the eating of prasada, the urges of the belly and the genitals can automatically be controlled. In this connection, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Sharira Vidyajar Jadendriya Taheka Jive Fele Vishay Sagare Tar Madhe Jivati Lobha Maya Sadurmati Take Jitha Katina Sansare Krishna Bada Dayamoy Kari Bare Jivya Joy So Prasadan Nati Lobhai Say Anamrit Khao Say Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gurgao Premedako Shri Chaitanya. O Lord, this material body is a lump of ignorance, and the senses are a network of paths leading to death. Somehow or other, we have fallen into the ocean of material senses, sense enjoyment, and of all the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and uncontrollable. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world. But you, dear Krishna, are very kind to us. You have sent this nice prasada to help us conquer the tongue. Therefore, let us take this prasada to our full satisfaction and glorify your lordships, Shri Shri Radha and Krishna, and in love call for the help of Lord Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda. There are 6 kind of...
So here, before taking prasadam, we chant this mantra, Sharira Vidya Janjali Indriyatahi. So because of chanting these mantras, what happened? We are remembering the mercy of Radha and Krishna. Okay, Ansrupi Prabhu, read from here.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
There are 6 kinds of rasas, and if one is agitated by any one of them, he becomes controlled by the urges of the tongue. Some persons are attracted to the eating of meat, fish, crabs, eggs, and other things produced by semina and blood and eaten in the form of dead bodies. Others are attracted by eating vegetables, creepers, spinach, or milk products, but all the satisfaction of the tongue's demands such eating for sense gratification, including the use of extra quantities of spices like chili and tamarind, is to be given up by Krishna conscious person. The use of pan, haritaki, betel nuts, various spices, used in pan making, tobacco, LSD, marijuana, opium, liquor, coffee, and tea is indulged in to fulfill illicit demands. If we can practice accepting only remnants of food offered to Krishna, it is possible to get free from Maya's victimization. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk products, and water are proper foods to offer to the Lord, as Krishna himself prescribes. However, if one accepts prasad only because of its palatable taste and thus eats too much, he also falls prey to trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to avoid palatable dishes even while eating prasada. If we offer palatable dishes to the deity with the intention of eating such nice food, we are involved in trying to satisfy the demands of the tongue. If we accept the invitation of a rich man with the idea of receiving palatable food, we are also trying to satisfy the demand of the tongue. In Chaitanya Charitamrita 6.227, it is stated, Jivara lal se yei iti uti dhaya, no dara payana Krishna nahi paya. That person who runs here and there seeking to gratify his palate and who is always attached to the desires of his stomach and genitals is unable to attain Krishna. As stated before, the tongue, belly, and genitals are all situated in a straight line and they fall in the same category. Lord Chaitanya has said, Bhala na kahibe ara, bhala na paribe. Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious. Do not dress luxuriously and do not eat delicious foodstuffs. Chaitanya Charitamrita 6.236. Those who suffer from diseases of stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly, at least according to this analysis. When we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences in life. However, if we observe fasting days like Ekadashi and Janmashtami, we can restrain the demands of the belly.
Okay,
as far
from
as
here, Maya Mataji, read. So here now, diseases of the stomach must be unable. Those who suffer from the diseases of the stomach must be unable to control the urges of the belly, at least according to this analysis. When we desire to eat more than necessary, we automatically create many inconveniences in life. That is why food must be taken, prasada must be taken also in a limited way, not that you go on taking. Okay, Maya Mataji.
I don't have book. I
don't have book.
Means I have book, but right now I don't have.
Okay, Pathabandhu Prabhu, read.
Yes, ma'am. Hare Krishna. As far as the urges of the genitals are concerned, there are two proper and improper, or legal and illicit sex. When a man is properly mature, he can marry according to the rules and regulations of the Shastras and use his genitals for begetting nice children. That is legal and religious. Otherwise, he may adopt many artificial means to satisfy the demand of the genitals, and he may not use any restraint. when one indulges in illicit sex life as defined by the Shastras, either by thinking, planning, talking about, or actually having sexual intercourse, or by satisfying the genitals by artificial means, he is caught in the clutches of Maya. These instructions apply not only to householders, but also to Tyagis, or those who are in the renounced order of life. In his book, Prema Vivarta, chapter 7, Sri Jagadananda Pandit says, वैरागी भाई ग्राम्य कथा न सुनबे काने ग्राम्य वार्ता न कहिबे जाबे मिलिबे आने स्वप्ने न कर भाई स्त्री संभाषण गृह स्त्री छाड़िया भाई आशियाचा वन यदि चाह पारायण राखीते गौरांगेर सने छोटा हरिदासेर कथा थाके जेन मने भाला न खाइबे आर भाला न पारिबे हृदयते राधा कृष्ण सर्वदा सेविबे. My dear brother, you are in the renounced order of life and should not listen to talk about ordinary worldly things, nor
Some disturbance there.
with others. Do not think of women even in dreams. You have accepted the renounced order of life with a vow that forbids you to associate with women. If you wish to associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you must always remember the incident of Chota Haridas and how he was rejected by the Lord. Do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remember humble.
पांच बंदू ब्रो एक मिनट बहुत सारे डिवोटीज अनम्यूट हो गए हैं माता जी तो बहुत डिस्टरबेंस है बहुत सारे डिवोटी 4-5 लोग अनम्यूट है
जनार्दन प्रभु कुकरेती प्रभु now read.
Do not eat luxurious dishes or dress in fine garments, but always remain humble and serve their Lordship, Shri Radha Krishna, in your heart of hearts. The conclusion is...
Okay. From here till here. So here in this, Jagadananda Pandita's, in his Prema Vivarta, chapter 7, Jagadananda Pandita says, how should be a Vairagi? How should be a Vairagi? How should be a person in the renounced order of life? He should not talk some mundane, material things. He should not Arana Khaive, Bharana Aive, Bharana Khaive, Ara Bharana Parive, Hridayata Radha Krishna, Sarvada Sevive. Always he should be eager to serve Krishna. That is most important. Okay, Vaishnava Gaur Prabhu, read.
Krishna Mataji. The conclusion is that one who can control these 6 items, speech, mind, anger, tongue, belly, and genitals, is to be called a Swami or Goswami. Swami means master, and Goswami means master of the go or senses. When one accepts the renounced order of life, he automatically assumes the title of Swami. This does not mean that he is the master of his family, community, or society. He must be master of his senses. Unless one is master of his senses, he should not be called Goswami, but Godas, servants of the senses. Following in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, all Swamis and Goswamis should fully engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As opposed to this, the Godas, Dasas engaged in the service of the senses or in the service of the material world. They have no other engagement. Prahlad Maharaj has further described the Godas as Adant Go, which refers to one whose senses are not controlled.
Adant Go.
Yeah, and Adant Go cannot become a servant of Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30, Prahlad Maharaj has said, Matirna Krishne Parta Swato Va Mitho Abhi Padayat Griha Vartanam. Adanta gobhir vishtam tamisram
Puna
puna
punas
punascharvitam charvananam. For
Matirna
those
Krishne, 1 minute. Matirna Krishne Paratasmatova. Prahlad Maharaj is telling to his father, what is the use? What is the use of even preaching? Matirna Krishna Paratasmatova. Your mati is not in Krishna. Mito bhibadyet graha vratanam. Even if thousands of people come and counsel you also, there's no use because your mati is not in Krishna. Adanta govir vishatam tamisram. You're going to fall in the hellest regions. And what I want to do? Punha punash charvita charvanana. Whatever is already chewed, you're going to try to chew and take some juice out of it. And some people put the drumstick and they go on chewing, go on chewing. The sugarcane wala person goes on putting, goes on trying to remove. After removing everything, if he's putting that molasses, you call na molasses, and then you try to remove some juice out of it, can you do that? So the materialistic life is like that. If you try to enjoy the materialistic life, it is like chewing already whatever has been chewed. So a person whose mati is not in Krishna, punha punas charvita charvananam. The quotations which has been given by Srila Prabhupada here, see quotations, what quotations are there? From Bhagavatam, 1st canto, 5th chapter, 10th and 11th verse. Now Prabhupada is giving the words from Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj says that what is the use if you are not, your mind is not engrossed in Krishna, you don't have any control over any urges, you will try to chew whatever already is chewed. So stop here. So request to everyone, read this verse. Vacho vegam, manasakrodha vegam, jiva vegam, udarapastha vegam, etan vegan, yo vishaheta dhiraha, sarvamati mam, prithivim cha shishyat. Yes. Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, just clarify that when it is said that don't wear the very fine dresses, when we say that
dresses. Too
for
costly.
Krishna, to serve Krishna, we can do that. We generally we say that.
Yeah, there are ways to dress. No? If a dress is attracting people towards you, what is the use? There are ways of dresses, like devotees, how they dress. They wear perfectly. There is a way of wearing sari also. Some people wear such a horrible way of saris. The better is they don't wear. There is a way to dress, way of wearing the dhoti kurta. Now see, there are stylish dhoti kurtas also. You wear them and come, everybody look at you. There is ways of doing things, isn't it? Yes, Vandana Mataji.
But Mataji, in this material world, always people try to find out the dresses which will attract the attention of the people. Rather, most of the time, dresses are made for the people only. That somebody will compliment you, it is a good dress, and this kind of thing is there in material life. Yes.
That's all you have to avoid, na? Avoid such association. There is only a competition between the dresses.
There is a proverb also, Mataji, that खाना चाहिए अपने मन से और पहनना चाहिए दूसरों को जो अच्छा लगे.
All these proverbs I have not seen in Bhagavad Gita.
These are the proverbs in the folklores.
Folk, yeah. खाना चाहिए अपने मन से, पहनना चाहिए दूसरे के मन से. Doesn't work out, na?
Mataji, there is this small query that I had, if I can ask you. The query is, what is the qualification required or minimum qualification required for any person to be shared this nectar of instructions?
When you meet one person who is eager to progress in Krishna consciousness, generally we call them neophytes. So there is some eagerness, at least they want to know Krishna consciousness, then you should start this book. It's the best book.
Correct.
Heavy knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam.
It can be a novice or someone who's a beginner also can be shared this, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if it is only for some advanced level devotees that instruction should come. So a beginner can be shared. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
I think, Prabhuji, you have missed the beginning of the class. Mataji told in the beginning only that anyone who is joining ISKCON, first this 11 verses are must. Right, Mataji?
The
Correct,
connection
correct.
chala gaya.
Correct, Prabhuji. So you are right, Prabhu. I missed the first part. That is the why that's query. Sorry, Mataji, if I took time. Hare
गादी ब्रो आप म्यूट है.
Hare Krishna, the connectivity was lost. So there, if you start teaching Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra for a neophyte, it's not so easy. You can start, but you should come at the level of teaching these. There are certain levels in teaching the subjects. Yeah, Gadi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, will you tell once again why one should not avoid palatable dishes even while eating prasadam?
And that doesn't mean that you cook something stupid and offer to Lord. You have to cook in a wonderful way. When you say palatable dishes, that means too much endeavor to make, too much of cream, and so many things are added. Too much everything.
Mataji, your connection is unstable. Mataji drop हो गई. नैन मंजरी का एक श्लोका रहेगा, वो सुन लेते हैं. नैनू बोलो बोलो. माताजी तो ड्रॉप हो गई है.
हरे कृष्णा बोलो. हरे कृष्णा.
अब बोलो.
आई बोलो. राधे राधे राधेश राधिका प्राणवल्लभ राधारमण वन्दे त्वं राधिका प्रेम निर्जिता.
Very good, wonderful. Okay, Gadi Prabhu, your doubt was palatable items. Yes.
It is written in the question that you should avoid while even eating prasadam, you should avoid palatable dishes. But when prasadam is offered, we can avoid eating palatable dishes.
No, palatable item is what you like. I will cook in whatever way I like. There's a process of cooking. No? There's a process of learning to cook also. Not put so much of oil, so much of masalas, and it should be like red up.
Too much is bad.
Everything too much is bad. Everything in a moderate way is wonderful. Everything too much, because I like it, so I'll cook in that way. It doesn't work like that. How to balance that? You should know the art of cooking is also very important. We have to balance everything. We have to balance the spices also. I like hot, spicy food. I'll put so much of tikka in that. But Krishna has to burn our word. In the name of prasadam also, don't take such palatable food. Because I like, I'll offer and I'll eat whatever I want. Ever Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami tries to tell us. Nainu, हरे कृष्ण पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अंत कुछ
हम कुछ चाहे हरि बोल।
आप कॉल करें।